So today we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials. So you're going to learn to multiply them, a monomial to a polynomial, binomial to a binomial, binomial to a trinomial, and I'm going to show you a couple different methods for doing so. But first we're going to go with the distributive property, which you know how to do. We've been doing it all year. You did it last year. We're going to take what's on the outside and we're going to distribute it to what's on the inside. So this negative 2/3 n squared, we're going to multiply to the negative 9n squared. So negative 2/3 n squared times negative 9n squared. And then plus negative 2/3 n squared times 3n. I don't care how you write that. And then plus negative 2/3 n squared times 6. Remember, when we multiply fractions, it's just the same as writing the second one over 1, and then you just multiply straight across. If you know how to cross reduce, you can do that as well. Negative 2 times negative 9 is 18. So we get 18n, and we add the exponents to the fourth divided by 3. Again, we can write this over 1, multiply numerator to numerator so that you get minus 6 n squared times n is n cubed over 3. And then lastly, negative 2 times 6 is negative 12 n squared, because we've got n squared times 1 all over 3. And then if I reduce my fractions, I get 6n to the fourth minus 2n cubed minus 4n squared. And that's what I get when I multiply. Okay. We're going to multiply again. We're going to distribute. The 6d cubed is going to go to the 5cd squared. So c squared d cubed times 5cd squared is going to give me 5, adding the exponent, c cubed d to the fifth. Going to multiply here. So minus 3c cubed d squared times c squared d cubed. It doesn't matter what order we multiply. Multiplication is commutative. So I'm going to get negative 3c to the fifth d to the fifth, add my exponents, and lastly minus c squared d cubed times 4d cubed, and that's going to give me negative 4c squared d cubed, and that's my final answer. In this case, we're going to distribute first and then combine our like terms. So my 3 gets distributed just to everything in the first polynomial. So I get 6t squared minus 12t minus 45. And then I'm going to distribute the 6t to everything in the second. So I get plus 30t squared plus 12t. And now I'm going to combine my like terms. 6d squared, and taking the sign with me, plus 30t squared is 36t squared. Negative 12t plus 12t is 0. And then we have the minus 45. So there is my final answer. In this case, notice that we're multiplying a binomial by a binomial. So what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the first term of the first to the second, and then we're going to distribute the second term of the first to everything in the second. So this will be x times 2x, which will give me 2x squared. X times 9 is plus 9x. Now we're going to take the sign with it, so we're going to take this and we're going to distribute it. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 9 is minus 45. Then I'm going to combine my like terms, so I get 2x squared minus x minus 45. And another example. Take my 4x and distribute. So 4x times 3x squared is 12x to the third. Okay, adding the exponents. 4x times negative 11 is negative 44x. Now I'm going to distribute a negative 8. Negative 8 times 3x squared is negative 24x squared. Negative 8 times negative 11 is negative 88. If I combine my like terms, I can see that there's none to combine, but I need to rearrange to put it in standard form, so my exponents are in decreasing order. So it's 12x cubed minus 24x squared minus 44x minus 88. In this example, you need to be careful. X minus 3 squared is subtraction going on. So we can't distribute per se, like you guys like to tell me. What we're going to have to do is rewrite this as x minus 3 times x minus 3, because that's the definition of an exponent. You have to multiply it by itself, the base, however many times the exponent is. So I'm going to distribute the x, and I've got x squared minus 3x. I'm going to distribute this negative 2, so I get negative 2x minus 2 times negative 3 is plus 6. And then here are my like terms, x squared minus 5x plus 6. All right. The other thing that you can do is you can set up a box to help you keep organized. So what I'm doing is I'm just setting up this box, and my first polynomial goes up top, and I just multiply like you did a multiplication table when you were in elementary school. So 3x times 4x goes in this first box, so it's 12x squared. 3x times 5 will go right here, so that's 15x. So we're putting our answers where the rows and column intersect. 4x times 6 is 24x, and 5 times 6 is 30, and it goes here. The nice thing is it puts your like terms in that diagonal, so you can see them pretty quickly. So I'm going to get 12x squared. 15 and 24 is 39. So plus 39x plus 30. And there's my answer. Here's that tricky 2x plus 5, that whole thing squared again. And I say it's tricky because even my geometry kids screw that up. They think they know everything, but they screw it up. So remember, this is 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. In my first square right here, 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Square right here, 2x times 5 is 10x. We're going to do that 2x times 5 again and give us 2x. And then 5 times 5 is 25. Again, your like terms are on this diagonal. So I get 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. Last example. Okay, now you can do this by distributing, but I think that it's much easier when I get past binomials to put it into the grid. So now instead of a 2 by 2 grid, I'm going to make a 2 by 3 grid. So across the top is your x squared minus 2x plus 9, and along the side, x minus 3. And you continue just like we did on the others, putting them in the boxes where they intersect. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times negative 2x is negative 2x squared. X times 9 is 9x. Then with a negative 3. And really, you're just, when you look at this, you're distributing, but you're just making it into an orderly fashion because we did multiply everything in the second by the x. Okay, so we get negative 3x squared plus 6x minus 27. And then your like terms are on the diagonals. Okay. So now your final answer is x cubed. Negative 2 and 3 is negative 5x squared. 9 and 6 is 15x, and then minus 27. So we did a lot of multiplying today, just distributing using the box method and double D or distributing twice. So have a math-tastic day.